thyself is to love thyself, is to examine, observe, and respect thyself. It's an ongoing process, never to be explained in a brief synopsis. It's a preoccupation with reflection and revelation that can only be achieved through discipline and determination.
Hello and welcome to the Encouraging Words Show. I am Jamila, Freelain, your host. Now, for those of you who've never watched the show before, let me tell you, we've got some exciting information. Now, Encouraging Words College Prep is the name of my organization, and the whole purpose behind Encouraging Words is really I love to take my knowledge and things that I've learned over the years and share that with students and parents so I can inspire them and encourage them. And really, the show that you're watching today is based on a book that I actually created about a year ago. That book is called Free Money for College. And the whole purpose of the book is really to provide insights on strategies and tips on how you can best approach the college preparation stages. So starting with middle school, for example, if you take some of these tips that I explain and that I share about college preparation and understanding resources that are available to you, you can really set yourself up for success. You can also learn to save some money because college debt is real, and it's as real as I am talking to you right now. So when it comes down to it, Free Money for College is a book about tips and strategies for students and parents, and this show, as well as the book, is meant to inspire students and parents, again, empower students and parents, give you some tips and strategies on how to reduce college costs, and provide a bit of financial literacy as well, because that is something that a lot of times people are lacking on that path to college and career preparation. So with that being said, I want to welcome you for joining me on this new broadcast, and I want to share with you a couple of things. So the first thing that I want to share with you is today, the word of the day is preparation. And of course, preparation ties in with both college planning as well as career planning. And one of the things that I've seen, both that I knew for myself when I was going through that process many moons ago, and that I know that people still continue to do today, is not completely prepare themselves or not even know how to best prepare or to plan in terms of being successful for college or a career path. And the reason that I say that is because so often people fall short. And typically people fall short not because they don't have the intelligence, not because they didn't have the capability, they just didn't have a strategy and plan. Now, one of the things that I used to say, if you've watched some of the past episodes of the Encouraging Word Show, is I used to be very mindful of sharing with students and parents statistics. And one of the statistics that really shook me to the core when I learned this is that really, truly, a large percentage, a vast majority even, of the students who graduate straight out of high school and go directly into a traditional four-year college don't graduate, and then they don't graduate in 4 years either. So the average student takes about 6 years to graduate with their bachelor's degree, which actually takes 4. And sometimes it's because life has gotten in the way and, life just happens. But other times it's because they failed to plan, and maybe they did plan, they did the best planning that they knew how to do, but it wasn't adequate enough. And remember, one of the things that you'll hear me to say all the time is that college is really not the goal. Graduation is. So if you're planning just to get in the door, well, that ain't good enough. Who spends $30,000 just to set foot on somebody's quad? At the end of the day, it's about graduating. It's about finishing up there. So that's what I want to give you is powerful tips to help you to reinforce maybe what you're doing already, enhance maybe the plan that you're on, or to maybe inform you about some things you didn't even know about. So today's word of the day, again, is preparation. And I'm going to share with you the 3 P's that I think are most important and essential for you to be successful, whether it's a college planning path or a career path. So listen up. So the first P is really people. And when I say people, if we're talking about a college plan or college preparation, people is in reference to the type of people that you see yourself surrounded by and the type of college environment that you want to be around. What are the people like? In other words, what are the students like? What are their typical GPAs? What is the typical profile of that student? Are they from a certain region? Do they have a certain level of interest? What is it like? Is it a party school? Is it a place where you have fun? Is it a place where they've got some really cool nerds? What is that particular environment like? And you should know that, because you're going to spend a lot of money going to whatever school that you decide to go to. So you might as well make it work for you, because that's what it's about. You're the only one that counts, right? You're going to be there. So people is the first P. Also the professors. Those are people on the campus, right? Now, the professors, what are some of their backgrounds? What kind of research have they done? What kind of maybe books have they written? Have they written maybe some of the textbooks that you're going to be utilizing? What are the professors like? What kinds of different things or work have they done? Maybe what kind of real world experience do they bring to the table? That can be very important as well. So when it comes down to college preparation, you want to know about the people first and foremost. You also want to know what that prospective school environment is going to be like as well. So think about that. Think about that particular P as you start to embark on that particular path. And whether you're in 6th grade or you're in 12th grade, that first P is critical to life as we know it if you're going to plan on going to college. Now, again, not everybody is going to go to a 4-year college or university straight out of high school. So for those of you that are on a career path, when we look at that first P and look at people as being that P, then think about personality traits. If you're going into a certain industry, or you're thinking about a certain career path, it's important for you to know what traits some of those people have. Are they talkative typically? Are they analytical? Are they intuitive? Are they introspective? Are they extroverted or introverted? That's something that's essential. If you have an understanding of the personality traits of those people in your particular career path, that can set you up for success, because you'll know going in whether or not maybe that suits you or if that fits you. And everybody has a multitude of different traits and characteristics that they're born with and gifts that they're born with. But if you have an understanding of the inner workings of who you are, that can really help to align you with that particular career path that best suits you. And again, you can save time and money, literally thousands of dollars, if you happen to know just those pieces of the puzzle right there. So when it comes to career path and that P of people, it's understanding what the personality traits are for that particular area. Also the skill set. So for example, if you're wanting to go into the music industry and you're not musically inclined, what you may be interested in doing that relates to that. So maybe you're analytical and you just love the music industry, but you cannot carry a tune in a bucket and you're not able to play an instrument, that sort of thing. Well, maybe you can use that analytical skill set that you have, or those skills that you have in terms of your entrepreneurial spirit, that sort of thing, and maybe help to launch a label. Or maybe, for example, you could be a manager, maybe you could be a promoter. There's many different areas. Maybe, for example, you'll be good at production. You don't play an instrument and you can't sing, but you can put together a really tight beat that we can all dance to. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, if you have an understanding of what the skill set is, for the people that are in that particular industry that you're interested in going into, again, that can give you a leg up on the competition, and again, it can save you time and money. Now, the other thing that you want to know is what the working conditions are like. So for people, what kind of people are most successful in that particular field or that particular industry? So for example, are these people that are maybe in a certain region of the country, and that actually goes to another P in a minute. But you want to know some of those different things ahead of time. When it comes to your career path, you want to know, again, what the working conditions, what the environment is like, and what kinds of people. Are these people that are night owls? Is that particularly the trend? Is the day in the life for a person in that certain industry that you want to go into? Maybe they're up at 3 a.m. If it's the music industry, that might very well be the case. On the flip side, is it maybe a situation where the people in that particular field aren't night owls at all? They may be much more inclined to be morning people. Well, does that fit you as well? Again, what kinds of people, what kinds of conditions, and what skill set do those people bring to the table? Those are things that can help you in your career path. Now, on the screen that you'll see, of course, you'll notice that the different P's are going to be shown there in between as I'm discussing them. So the second P is place. Now, what I mean by place, if we're talking going back to our original point of college planning, what are you looking for in terms of a college? Are you looking for something in the north? You're looking for something on the south, in the south? Are you looking for something on the East Coast, West Coast? Are you looking at a traditional school, a traditional 4-year university? Are you looking at an HBCU? Are you thinking maybe a vocational or a trade school might fit you best? What is the best thing for you? Place is what that second P is. So place, what are the places, what are the types of environments you thrive in the most? Is it maybe an urban environment? Is it a rural environment? And that actually ties into one of the things that I talk about often too, and I'll get to that in some future shows. But when it comes to college tours, I'll give you an example. I graduated from the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, Fighting Illini, go Illini. And we have a sister school in Chicago, which is known as UIC. And I can tell you for a fact that coming from the area where I grew up, which was a small city outside of the Chicago area, when I went to UIC for a visit, I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that was not the school for me. Not because it wasn't a good school, because academically they were on point, but it was in the middle of downtown Chicago. Who does that? I wouldn't have been able to focus to save my life, but I knew enough about myself to know that that was something that I had to be mindful of if I wanted to be successful. Again, it ain't about going to school, y'all. It's about graduating. I talked to another guy. I can remember asking him why he chose the particular school that he had chosen, because he actually had gone to a predominantly black high school, and his particular high school was very, very urban. And he actually ended up going to a college that was in the northern suburbs of the Chicago area. And the demographics were extremely different from the high school that he had gone to. So one day, just to pick his brain, because of course that's what I like to do with talking to people about their particular college choices. And I mentioned to him, or I asked him, what is it that made you choose that particular college? You know, I knew he played football and, you know, probably could have gotten into a D1 school. This was a D2 school, a Division II. And he was just like, you know, flat out, when it comes down to it, I had gone to some other schools. I had gone to Alabama A&M, and he'd gone to some other schools. He was like, and the girls were so fine. So he knew he was going to be distracted. And that was real talk. But he knew enough about himself to say, hey, you know, I got to focus. I got to stay on point. So again, it's all about place. What environment do you thrive best in? And know yourself well enough to be able to identify that, because that can make a world of difference. Again, we're talking saving time and money, you all, and at a price tag of at least $30,000 in terms of cost of attendance, even for a public school, it's worth knowing that. If you're looking at a private school, your tuition could easily be $35,000, $40,000. And again, remember, y'all, I just said that's tuition. That's not the cost of attendance. The difference, let me explain what that is. The tuition is the money that you pay for the privilege of going there. Your cost of attendance is everything else. So again, if your tuition is $35,000 or $40,000, and it could very easily be for a private school, that's not far-fetched. Look it up. Keep in mind, if that's like $35,000, $40,000, then your cost of attendance could very easily be $50,000 for a year. That's real talk. So you want to be very clear in identifying what works best for you before you make that investment or you make that leap of faith, only to find that that's something that you don't, that's a place you don't want to be. The last two things I want to talk about is, of course, for career path, when it relates to place, you want to think about what is the job market. That's, you know, in other words, what is the best particular place for your particular industry. So again, if you're not going that traditional college route and you're going on into embarking on your career path right away, then you'll want to be mindful of what the job market is. What place is going to be best and most suitable for the area that you want to go into. If I wanted to go into the movie industry, I probably wouldn't go to Burlington, North Carolina. No disrespect to Burlington, North Carolina. That just ain't the place to be for that particular field in that particular industry. Real talk, you have to be mindful of where you're going to thrive best. If it means you have to go clear across the world to Dubai or Japan, you should know that going in, because if that's not a place you want to be, then that's probably not the major you should go into. Doesn't mean you're wrong, doesn't mean that's a bad major, but maybe look at some related industries or look at some things that, again, tie into the core of who you are. So place is very important, and we looked at that for both the college planning and the career planning. Last P we want to look at is performance. And when we look at performance, I'm speaking of the performance of the school. For example, if I'm going into a business management program, that's my major, that's for sure what I want to go into. Well, it may be important for me to find out what the ranking is for that particular college or university. What kinds of different things do they have that fall in that particular category? If I'm playing sports, is it a D1 or Division 2? We talked about that a little bit earlier for a hot second. So Division 1 or Division 2 school, if I'm playing a sport, I kind of want to know that. Where does that school, what is their performance level in those areas that pertain to me? Very, very important. And then lastly, we want to look at, if we're talking about career path as it relates to performance, we want to think about the performance of the particular industry that we're going into. So the performance for that particular industry is going to be maybe tied to the stability of that particular field or industry, as well as the performance. Is it a particular industry that's on the incline or on the decline? Are all the jobs in that particular field that you're looking at going into being shipped overseas? What is the status of that particular field? That's important to know, because again, if you're investing your time in, let's say again, you're going into a career path, you're not maybe going that college path just yet, but if you're getting into an apprenticeship, or if you're getting into taking some licensing classes and investing a lot of money to pay for tests and exams or certifications for that particular field or path, only to find that that path is not going to even be on the horizon 5 years from now, then you've wasted your money. So you want to be very mindful of the performance of that particular industry. So that's the third P for the day. Now we're actually about to go to a break, and I hope you've enjoyed those 3 Ps, and of course we'll have one slide there to review those 3 Ps that we've just covered. And when we come back from the break, I've got a special treat. I've got a call-in guest, and these are the founders of the STEAM Buttercup, that's what it is. Lord, I'm struggling. The Buttercup STEAM Camp, and I'll have them on in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Buttercup STEAM Camp is a unique week-long adventure for girls ages 7 to 12 to learn, build, and code in a fun and supportive environment. Students work hands-on creating steampunk-themed projects that incorporate elements of STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Registration is now open for Spring Break Camp, April 2nd through the 6th. Please visit buttercupsteam.io for more information.
Hey, and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the Encouraging Word Show. Now, if you didn't get a chance to see the first segment of the show, please go back and watch it. It definitely was great. I gave the 3 Ps on college preparation. The 3 Ps are really essential to helping you plan effectively and strategically. Now, as I've mentioned before, if you're not familiar with the show, it's based on a book called Free Money for College. And I'm not going to go real in depth about that right now, but the book, if you haven't gotten it, you can find it on Amazon, and it's a great read if you're trying to kind of begin the college planning or career planning process. Now, with me today, I have a call-in guest, and I'm so excited to have this couple on. They are the co-founders of the Buttercup STEAM Coding Camp. Say that 5 times fast. They are out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm telling you, they are fascinating. They're doing some really great things, and actually they just got a grant as well, so we want to talk a little bit about that. But enough of me giving that introduction. Let me have them to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about their roles with the Buttercup STEAM Coding Camp.
Hi, Jamila.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is Aisha Flores. I'm the founder of Buttercup Team.
Okay.
And I'm on with my husband, Daniel Flores.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel Flores, and I am the creative side where I bring the arts into the theme, and we make it a fun package together.
Oh, great. I love it. I'm glad you guys are together. So let me just kind of jump right in and kind of get an idea as to what is it exactly that you guys do. I know that I follow you, of course, on Facebook, and I know you guys are really both into technology and also into the arts. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
At the camp, we teach girls ages 7 to 12 how to build robots, how to program them. We also explore different interest areas. So we infuse those projects with steampunk projects. So I don't know if you've heard of steampunk before.
I have heard of STEAM, but you know what? For the listening audience that may not be familiar with that acronym, can you tell us what STEAM means?
Yes, STEAM, STEAM, stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. But we also incorporate something called steampunk. And steampunk is like an artistic way of it's more of like DIY with engineering and also art. So it's an interest area of mine where I wanted to bring in that artistic side into the art and technology part of the camp. And so one of the things to bring into the camp are cosplayers. And cosplayers you may have heard of cosplayers from conferences like MomoCon or DragonCon or Comic-Con where they dress up as characters.
Okay, Comic-Con I've heard of, definitely.
Okay, yeah, and so we have all those types of conferences here, and so we brought in cosplayers who incorporate technology into their costumes, and they come and talk to the girls as well. So we try to make it really fun, artistic, and also to give the girls the opportunity to see ways that they can explore their interests in different ways.
Okay, that's great.
And I just want to add that the steampunk is the artistic side where we can bring in costumes and art so that theme and Buttercup theme kind of means two different things.
Okay.
One is the theme as an education, and then the other part is creative expression.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So now with the people that come in the costumes and things, those are like sci-fi characters or something, or help me understand that a little better.
Yes, we have about 3 different cosplayers that come to visit the girls, and they are sci-fi characters.
Okay.
And one in particular is called Lucio. I don't know that cartoon or comic that is from, but I really like the story that goes with the character, where he is solving in the earth by his costume is built like a speaker, and basically he's projecting out peace to the earth through the speaker. And so in his costume, the actual person who's wearing the costume, he built the costume to where he added electronic devices to where it would blast music. It would play music, and he incorporated that into his actual costume. And he came and explained how he created that costume.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's what's up. That's really, really cool. Now, let me ask.
Let me add something. When you have people who dress up in costumes and they put these elaborate pieces together, the creative part of creating a character, it expands on everybody's inspiration, but also brings in the technology and how can you make these costumes work and function as they intended to be. So when you try to put some speakers on a costume, it's not easy. So that's the engineering part, that it makes you think about how can you put this together so that it actually stays on the body and that person can walk around and act out whatever the character is supposed to do. So by bringing it to real life people, we kind of show young girls that they can put together their imagination, they can put together their logical steps to how to have something that they can have in the real world and function in education to further whatever their goals may be.
I love it. I love it. I love it. As you guys may know, I worked for an art school for many years, about 13, 14 years total. So I was always really excited to see different innovative things, and what you guys are doing is really off the chart. So I love it. Now, let me ask you, how did this come about? Because this isn't something that exists everywhere. I've seen different like boot camps for coding, actually even for adults, but I've never quite seen it with kids necessarily, where it maybe was just focused on girls, and where it also had that artistic piece. So I think this is really, really pretty cool. How did that come about?
We think the arts are very important to incorporate into the technology. We didn't want girls just coming to sit on the computer all day. The idea of doing the camp was really out of my desire to share my own passions with others. And I have a background in electronic engineering, so I like playing with electronics. And so I was trying to think of what way could I give back and using the knowledge that I have. And so I thought of, and I work with children a lot over the course of, my adult life and various ways of community service. So I'm also a volunteer tech instructor for Black Girls Code. I'm also a tech instructor for Code.org. I do other instructional STEM and technology instruction on request for school systems for public. And so there weren't any summer camps that really focused on girls in our area, and especially girls of color. And so I wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for girls of color and girls in general to have a week-long adventure with us. And so teaching them how to do a bunch of fun things, not just sitting in front of a computer, writing code. So the robots that we build during our week-long camp, they build the robots from scratch. There's over 40 pieces. They program. We use Arduino chipset, and so they program the Arduino. They also have to do a presentation at the end of camp. So they also have to put together a presentation to show their parents. So it's like a whole little package, like a culminating event at the end. And so we want the girls to really, have an environment where they can experiment and explore their interests. They don't actually have to just have an interest in coding or even building robots. We want them to know that it's okay to explore any of their interests, and that they don't have to feel that they can't explore it because they are a girl, or that because they're a person of color. That, whatever that they want, whatever idea or area that they want to go into, that to not be afraid, to forge ahead and go ahead and explore that, and don't let anyone discourage because of, that they're a girl or that they're a person of color. It doesn't, and then, we encourage them, of course, give them the opportunity to explore these interests at our camp, but we more so want them to feel comfortable that whatever it is that they want to do, that they can do that, and there's nothing stopping them.
Oh gosh, so that's really, you said a mouthful right there. In more ways than one. I think that was very profound. So you're really preparing the next generation first and foremost. And then when you really think about it, that's really an opportunity that many students in your area, and for that matter, this area, may not even think about going into, just because something like that doesn't quite seem accessible, and they're not the targeted group oftentimes for maybe those kinds of camps. So this is really cool and a great opportunity for exposure. That's phenomenal. Now let me ask you, both Dan and Aisha, either one of you can kind of jump in here with this, but let me ask you, if someone was to find that they really, really take to this camp and they love everything they've done, they're like, flying high after they've taken this camp, what are some different majors that they can look at, that college majors that relate to what they're doing in this particular camp?
Well, the majors that they would look into are either CIS, which is computer information sciences, computer science, engineering, electronic engineering.
Okay.
But I focus on girls who are middle school. And so what I really wanted to touch this area because I want them to start looking into those courses when they're in high school.
Okay.
Because by the time they get to college, they may not have taken the courses that will get them in or where they will succeed in those classes in college.
That's so true. I preach that all the time.
I'm hoping this will spark their interest into the sciences and technology, and that they'll start taking advanced level classes, maybe in calculus, physics, in high school, and not waiting until they get to college.
Okay.
Right. One of the things that we want to do is inspire these young girls while they're still young, so that when they get to high school, they're already thinking in terms of logic. They're already thinking in terms of science, and then they can keep on expanding on their own creativity, and then maybe even build the next generation of apps and robotics before they even get out of high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, technology is so easily accessible to everybody because of how cheap things have become that there's nothing stopping anyone from furthering an education outside of the regular classroom.
Yes, yes, very, very true. And I love that you said that, Dan. It's definitely about planting that seed and planting it early. And again, that can make all the difference in the world for sure. Now, you guys recently were recipients of a grant. Was that for this particular, was that for the Buttercup STEAM camp, or was that for something else?
Yes, it was specifically for our camp. The Pollination Project is a nonprofit that gives seed grants to, they give them to for-profit and also other nonprofit groups. They do a grant a day. Okay. And we're very thankful and grateful for their support. Yeah. And so we're using those funds to help out, reach out to more girls who perhaps would not feel that they would be able to have this sort of experience.
Now, Dan and Aisha, how do you guys typically reach your students? Like, do you partner with a certain school? Is it open to everybody in the Atlanta area? Like, whosoever will, let them come? Like, tell me a little bit about how that works and how you reach those middle school students.
Well, number one is focusing on finding where the parents are.
Okay.
And so social media helps us reach the parents because the parents are always looking for where they can bring the children to spark their interest and build their knowledge and creativity. Right. And so we really focus on the parents. And so we've done a few science nights. We've done a few visits to schools. Okay. And making sure that we promote anywhere we can. And by even we even promote by leaving flyers at the venue where we have our classes, which is Sam Flagg's Art Store. Okay. And so the art store itself, for all the people that come through the store and are interested in the arts, we give them a little bit of information so that they can be interested in bringing the children. Also, we make sure that we put out enough content that it's easy for children to grasp and take a look at. And feel like that's something they can see other girls doing it and feel like they themselves can do it also.
Yes, very true, very true. Well, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on today. You guys have given us a tremendous amount of information, and I know that somebody is definitely going to take advantage of this as a result of seeing it and going to share the information as well. One last thing is you guys have sent me your contact information, so I'm going to post that. And then, of course, I know you had a commercial that was shown during the break, so they have probably your contact information from there as well. Now, for those of you who were just listening, again, you were hearing from the founders of the Buttercup STEAM Coding Camp. and that takes place in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a camp coming up real soon in April, from April 2nd through April 6th, and that's actually during spring break, so take advantage of it. Now, if you happen to contact them and you get registered for the classes for that particular week, just be mindful. If you happen to mention the Encouraging Word Show, if you happen to mention that, you'll get $100 off the cost of your registration. So definitely make sure you take advantage of that. It is well worth it. I want to thank you guys both for being on the show again. Did you have a final closing thought?
Yes, we just want to thank you very much, Jamila, for inviting us onto your show, and that if anyone is interested in STEAM, we also have information and resources on our Facebook page on how to learn how to code for free. So there are a lot of resources that we provide to the community, and please look us up at buttercupsteam.io.
Okay, and I'll be sure to post that link on my Encouraging Words page for your Facebook page, as well as include it on the contact slide that I'll have after the show. So thanks again, you guys. And for those of you that are watching today, I'm tongue-tied like a mug today. Oh my goodness. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every viewer. Please be sure to share the information. If you found something here that was helpful for yourself, or that you think could be helpful to somebody else, by all means share the information. I want to make sure that we get out as much career and college planning exposure as possible. Time is of the essence, and time is money, really, when it comes down to it, whether you're on a college path or a career path. That's my time for today. Those are my tips for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Thursday.
All right.